can't even like compose myself because I've been asking for this interview for, I gotta say, a good six months now, and it's finally happened. So welcome back to another episode of Level Up in Life and Business, the entrepreneurial series. And boy, do I have one for you today, okay? So the entrepreneurial series is where we spotlight visionary entrepreneurs who are building legacy brands and shifting culture. Today's guest is a true force in the global beauty industry. She's not only a renowned beauty educator and influencer with a powerful community of over 2.2 million real live followers, but she's also the mastermind behind Dress Your Face and the founder of DYF Beauty, a brand that launched last year with her debut line of expertly designed makeup brushes, which are amazing. I use them today, but yeah.
Ooh,
amazing. She hosted an epic run of international masterclasses that have generated over, I don't want to say, but I'm just going to guess 6 figures in revenue. I don't know. I'm just saying. She's the truth. Seven. Oh my God. Okay. All while remaining authentically to her, like herself, focused on education and empowerment. And she doesn't just build beauty. She uses her platform to raise awareness and funds for causes that are close to her heart, including raising thousands of dollars for the genocide happening in Palestine. Forever indebted to you for that. Aww. She's a client, a friend, and a true boss babe, whose entrepreneurial spirit has truly inspired me. I gotta say, like, I don't know how you do it.
Oh my God,
really don't. Everybody, Tamanna Roashan.
Wow, way to gas me up, girl.
I mean,
I'm like blushing.
It's only right. It's only right to give you your flowers while you're here and
Thank
to just
you.
like really let you know that like you're that ish. Okay.
Thank you.
How do you feel? Like,
I don't think I've ever fully settled into it. Like people see me as this role, and I'm so focused on all the projects and what I'm doing and my kids and like the mom life and trying to balance everything that I don't really fully settle in what I mean to other people. And when I do, it just gets very overwhelming and emotional for me. So then I like cut it off and I'm like, no, just get back to work, Tam.
You gotta lay in that bed for a minute. You gotta lay in that bed because you deserve it. And you look great, by the way. You look amazing. I know I told you that when you walked in. I can't stop looking at you. You just look beautiful.
So sweet.
As always. So let's just get right into it. You guys, T is a little bit nervous. I call her T. I will try to say Tamanna, but I always say T.
You can call me T.
Okay.
It's casual.
Okay, she's nervous, and I don't know why.
Because I don't prepare for things like this. I just kind of let my mouth run, and sometimes that gets me in trouble. Okay. So I'm going to try to like...
Well, let's do it, guys. We're not editing on nothing. We're not cutting out anything. You guys are going to get it all. You guys are going to get it all right here. Okay, so, you've built something truly iconic. When you look at your early days, what moment like stands out as the the pivot for you in your career? Like when you were like, okay, I'm onto something here.
You know what? I was kind of thrown in really young. I think some of my OG followers know this story, but my parents were business owners themselves. Okay. They did wedding photography and videography. So I was kind of thrown into like the bridal scene very young. I was 13 when I was like officially hired by my dad as a video. I guess I did a few different things. So I recorded and I edited with him, and I did photography as well.
This explains why you do all your own.
I do all my own content. Yeah, I do not outsource any of it. But yeah, I was kind of thrown into it, and I think there was like two really major moments. One was, once I graduated high school, and I had already been doing brides, because as a photographer, I saw where there was a need, and there was a need for like a little more help with makeup back then. We're talking about like the late 90s, you guys. I'm dating myself right now. But I mean, no one really hired like a major makeup artist, right? It wasn't like a thing.
Right.
They had their Mary Kay lady or their aunts come and like help them out, their cousins,
God. I remember Mary Kay.
Mary Kay.
Wow. They're still in business,
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You know what? I was an avid user. Okay.
Really?
I had a Mary Kay lady. I sure did. And so, you know, that's what I saw. And because I was good with art, and I never really did my own makeup at that age, but I would help with school dances and things like that, and plays. So I would help out with the brides, and it became kind of a thing where we were a package deal. I'd do the brides, and I'd also be there as their photographer and kind of do that. So that was like one moment where I was like, wow, word of mouth is happening. Brides are actually wanting to book me.
Okay.
And I kind of realized something, which kind of was like sad also, but when the economy was changing and more videographers were coming out, and they were cheaper and easier to hire than my parents were, and I started to grow in just from word of mouth. I wasn't really advertising or anything, but I started noticing that I was getting inquiries outside of the inquiries from my parents.
Okay.
So instead of my parents, you know, chipping me out there, it was just kind of coming into me, and I was like, okay, I think there's a huge opportunity here.
And how are they reaching out to you back then? Like, because Instagram wasn't a thing.
No, it wasn't a thing. Even Facebook really wasn't a thing.
No.
This was before all that. So they'd actually reach out to my parents for my information, because like people knew that, oh, this, you know, Roashan Video's daughter is doing these brides. And a lot of times they'd get my content from other brides. So it was a lot of that kind of word of mouth, like all the bridesmaids as they're getting married, I'd end up just doing the whole family.
Exactly.
So that's kind of one part where I was like, okay, there's something happening here. I was a science major. I was all about astronomy and evolution.
Really?
I was at Cal State East Bay. At that time, it was called Cal State Hayward. And that was my major. And I really wanted to work for NASA. I wanted to do all the nerdy things. I'm still so into it. I'm following all the pages.
This explains why you're so detailed. When you're like reading somebody, the facts, the receipts, they come out. It explains the research.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, nerdy Tam, like she's in it. But yeah, it was a huge shift. I ended up just dropping that major and focusing on the marketing and the beauty side of things. And then there was a second major moment, which actually catapulted my career. So I had already gotten my cosmetology license. I was doing hair and makeup on the side. I was working for Lancome at the time. I was a business manager, and I had been there for 8 years. And things just weren't growing the way I wanted to. I was climbing the ladder, but the other side of things were kind of turning me off, the business end, just looking at numbers and not understanding why they weren't growing, not because I wasn't understanding, but because my bosses weren't understanding. And I would try to be very creative and sell actually on social media at the time, and I would sell out a product so quickly. I was in a flagship store. Everything was great, but the economy was crashing, and things were just looking really grim for my future there. And I kept coming home very, very stressed.
Yeah.
And my husband actually told me, you know, Tam, you have so many clients that like wait for spots for you, but you're working full time. Have you thought about quitting? And I'm like, in this economy, you want me to give up our benefits and our health insurance and all? And he's like, you could buy it, and we're young. Do we need it? And I'm like, okay, don't get me started there. But yeah, I guess we could buy it. And I thought about it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just so unhappy where I was, so unhappy. And I felt like I grew up a lot, and I had this huge demand for cuts, colors, ombres, like all the things, and then weekend brides. And I wasn't able to do all of them because I would have to use up my vacation time in order to accept these brides. And I'm like, you know what? I think it is time.
Yeah.
And that was the moment where I put in my resignation. And the moment I wrote, and this was before Instagram, so I wrote on Facebook, hey guys, I'm available 7 days a week. This is what I offer. And I swear to you, Anthony, my schedule booked up so fast.
Really?
I was booked up months in advance, like instantly. And every single day was a hustle, and I freaking loved it because I took home the money.
Yeah.
And it was my work, my schedule, my time.
Yeah.
And that was the big moment for me.
So did you ever think that it would turn to be this global beauty like situation? Did you ever were you forecasting that back then, like I want to be this, or were you just like taking it one day at a time?
I mean, yes and no, right? So I think all of us as little girls have these big dreams.
Right.
And we see the star life, and we see the limelight, and we're like, I want to be that girl.
Yeah.
I want to be that star.
Right.
But when real life happens, the dreams are distracted, and we're focusing now on like the day-to-day grind. And so even though it's always been in the back of my mind that, you know, I can do this, I want to be that, I don't think I really took it that seriously until things started really falling into place, especially with the dawn of social media.
Yeah. So who would you say were like some of your biggest like motivators or influencers back then? When you were like, okay, she's doing it, so like maybe I can do something like that. Or like what was your, because sometimes when we're in a situation and things just fall in our lap, like we don't really like, we don't have an example of like, you know, where we could go with it. So did you have?
I know, I didn't. I mean, this is, like I said, the start of the social media world.
I know.
I have a marketing degree, but that was like for print and video. I mean, like TV.
Exactly.
So things were very different on social, but for me, it wasn't like there was like someone that I could follow the footsteps of, especially as a brown girl.
Yeah.
Someone who looks like an outsider in a very, very white dominated world of social media. And so I had to really create my own lane in that sense because there wasn't anyone who looked like me, who did what I was doing. And that was making it, because I don't think at that time anyone really truly made it on social. We were all just kind of starting out, and climbing
figuring
to see
it out,
what it
trying
was.
to see what it is. Exactly.
So that's exactly what I did. I just, and the thing is, I use social media in a different way than a lot of my friends did, and I think that's really what set me apart from a lot of other artists. Is I use social media not just to like post my food and post my friends.
Exactly.
It was to post my work.
Absolutely.
To post the behind the scenes.
Absolutely.
To also share, the latest product that I'm trying or whatever it was, and really giving people an insider look into what my life was like as an artist, as a working artist.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people were doing it at the time.
And you know what? There's still not a lot of people doing it now. It's crazy. You would think they have, especially the influencers, the young beauty influencers, it's like popular-ish. Show your work. Like use social media as a form of business. I always say, if it's not leading back to income and like one of your 3 pillars of business, like what are you even posting it for? Who cares about that you're eating a tuna salad sandwich?
Yes.
I don't. You know what I'm saying?
If I'm trying to
hire you, like I want to know what you can do.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I think it's so pivotal. Wow, that you did that.
It was my portfolio.
Yeah.
I still have my old portfolio up on Facebook. It's all there. And I'm so proud of it.
That's great.
It's like a piece of history. I'm like, you know what? I'm keeping that up forever.
Yes, you should. So what would you say were some of the challenges that you faced just building your clientele, building your business? I mean, obviously, yes, you were flooded with inquiries, but like, how did you manage that? Like, I mean, were there burnout days where you just I just can't, you know what I mean? How did you, did you face any challenges when you were building your business?
Honestly, I was very, very blessed with having that like flow of clientele. I was living in the Bay Area. There weren't a whole lot of
Shout
us
out
over
to
there.
the Bay Area.
We're
Bay Area girls over here.
See, that's why I love you so much.
I think so. I really think so. I really think so.
It's the Bay Area baddies. So, being out there, and it's a big place, but it's a small town at the same time. We all know each other. And so I had like this wonderful, loyal clientele. But I think some of the challenges were really, I was young. I was very young. I was 17, 18. And when I started off, I was actually 16. But really getting into it and learning how to not only close the deal, like during the trials and things like that, I had to learn how to get a contract signed. And before that, I was so shy about even asking for a contract signature, or even asking for payment was so awkward for me. Because I'm like, my dad and mom usually would handle that. And then now that I'm getting my own bookings, I had to handle all that stuff. And it was really challenging because I was a nice girl and a baby. And so people would come in and take full on advantage of my niceness. And if they didn't have the cash on them, and at that time there was no cash apps or anything like that. So we really relied on cash or check. And I bought a little square reader finally when that came out.
Yes, I remember
but like
that
was a little later too. So I had to, trust that they would pay me. And many times people would come in without the money and be like, oh, I got you tomorrow, or I'll send you, in the mail, or, oh, I know where you work. I'll just come and drop it off. And I'd be like, okay, and not have them sign anything. And I would just be burned in that way. And here I am spending hours and hours, glamming you up, or I'm coloring your hair and spending 4 hours doing an ombre,
Absolutely.
like all this stuff, and I'm not getting paid in the end. And it was just, that was really defeating for me, but it's such a lesson.
Yeah.
And I think nowadays girls know everything needs to be in writing.
Yep.
And take that payment up front.
Yep.
At least a deposit.
Yep.
Okay, so all these things, because I didn't have anyone to look up to or learn from, I had to figure it out the hard way, and that was the biggest challenge in the beginning.
Yeah. Okay, so just out of curiosity, would someone be able to book you today? Is that like a thing still, or are you just like, no, or?
No, just no, I absolutely love bookings, honestly, and that's one of the things that I wanted to focus on this coming year, is kind of dipping back into the fun of bookings. I miss it. I've been so busy building my brand and touring the world and doing all these big things that I really miss the foundational moments, the moments where you can have this human to human connection. I've still been doing like a very, very small handful of brides every year, usually destination weddings or like the 3-day Indian weddings that require like a whole lot of direction and creative,
input.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what excites me, is when I get to really direct the looks of multiple different events for this one bride. So I tend to always say yes
I love
to those
watching
kind of
those
things.
stories,
It's
by the
fun.
way. It's so, I feel like I'm at the wedding. I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
God, what are we eating?
I know, right? And that's what makes
You
it
give
so
us
fun.
an experience.
It's
I mean,
immersive.
yes, you really do give an experience. I love your storytelling. I just love how you just like make me feel like I'm just like, I feel like I'm like your bestie. Like I know everything. I'm like,
You come
what's
with
up
me
with the
everywhere,
kids?
girl.
Like what's going on? So speaking of that, like what is like a day in the life, like from sun up to sundown? Like what does it look like for you running your business, being a mom, juggling it all?
Oh, God,
what is, what does a day in the life look like, and how do you balance it?
I mean, every single day is a little bit different, and I think that's a common thread throughout my days is that I wear many hats.
Yeah.
So as a business owner who works solo, which not a lot of people know, I don't have a team.
Really?
I do everything on my own. The only team that I have is my tech team in India. And they help me run my app.
Okay.
But other than that, I'm running everything on my own.
So you're shipping, you're marketing, you're doing everything.
Yeah.
What?
So I do all that. So
Are you a control freak, or are you
you know,
just?
that's the thing. And that's one thing I need to let go. And that was one promise I made to myself this year.
Okay.
Is that I'm going to delegate.
Yes.
I'm going to find an assistant and I'm going to delegate.
You know what, T? You gotta put the systems in place
Yeah.
to allow you to scale how you want to scale.
Exactly.
I mean, look, this is the Level Up in Life and Business podcast. I talk about this all the time, the proper systems, putting them in place so that you can actually go out and just, create and do what you want to do.
'Cause that's what I love.
Because you
That's the part I
cannot,
love.
you'll stay in the same place because especially with the machine that you're running here, the fact that you're doing it on your own, I'm surprised you're even up right now. Sometimes when I text you, you're like, oh, it's okay. I don't go to sleep until like 4 a.m. anyway.
No, and I
I'm
don't
like,
drink
4 a.m.?
caffeine, and I just run on adrenaline every day.
No, this
Yeah.
is not okay. You have to
I
delegate.
know. I
Okay,
need to slow
promise
down. I need
me.
to breathe. No, yes.
Promise me,
I
yes.
promise. No,
Okay.
that is a goal. That is absolutely a goal.
Okay.
Because right now my day to day is just kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
I start the day, I look at my emails, I figure out, what needs to be shipped that day. Most of the things are usually boxed the night before. My kids
So wait,
help me.
slow down. Is there like a morning routine? Is there like, okay, I wake up and I do my red light
There
therapy
is
and then I
no-
meditate outside of my pool? Is there like
No, none of that. And by the way,
she's just like all action
I'm gonna
here.
say this.
All gas, no brakes.
And people find this very odd, but I think people who are like me understand. I am a spiritual being.
Okay.
But I do not meditate.
Me
and
neither.
I do not do yoga. And I do breathing. I keep knocking this
Yeah.
mic.
It's
I
okay.
speak with my hands. Okay.
It is really close.
It
Honestly,
is.
I'm like backing up from it because it's
Like,
kind of
okay.
close.
And I just started implementing breathing exercises with my kids.
Okay.
So we do that every single night. We have a real night routine, but my morning routines, I mean, the kids are at school. Kushal does the whole morning thing. So he takes them because I sleep very late. So I wake up when I can.
Like 4 a.m.
Yeah. I mean, that's going to change. It already has. I've been very good lately.
Good.
Very good. But good meaning 2 a.m. instead of 4 a.m. But I do, I value my morning sleep, and I wake up and I'm just ready to work.
Yeah.
And I just dive right in.
I'm not a meditator either. I'd rather do it in prayer. I mean, honestly, I do my salah, I pray 5 times a day, and that's where I find the little meditation practice.
That's beautiful. That is meditation.
Yeah,
Anthony.
honestly, it is. I mean, it really is. But I'm not like a meditator. I'm not like a yogi. I'll do a Pilates class or something. I might do a yoga class like once a year, but like the whole meditation thing is not me either. I'm not going to be in the garden in the grass. I'm not grounding with my feet out there. I'm not doing all that. I don't have the time, really.
4 kids. Go. And you're in charge of 4 lives, full 5 with your husband.
It's crazy.
It's a lot. It's a lot on a woman.
It is a lot. Okay, so being that you do everything on your own, what systems or tools do you rely on to help you thrive in business or to keep your business going?
I rely on Shopify.
Okay.
My e-commerce is via Shopify.
Okay.
And I actually learned about it through one of my other business owner friends.
Oh.
Because I was like, how do you even, I know how to build a website, but how do you have a nice secure checkout? And how do you deal with the fulfillment, you know? And she was like, girl, everything is on Shopify. And I'm like, oh. Okay, so I went in and I learned, and it's just so freaking easy.
You know what? I might do Shopify too. I've got my journals coming out, and I'm like, how am I going to sell these things? I don't even know. Really? Okay.
Yeah, or anything
Shopify plug. Okay, we need a brand deal over here.
Brand deal, I'm waiting.
Yes.
But yeah, all my fulfillment, everything is via Shopify. I print my labels through Shopify. Okay. It just makes things so much easier, and a lot of the emails are automated.
Oh,
and
good.
If a customer has left their item in the checkout, they'll email that customer after, I don't know how long.
So you deal with just strictly fulfillment right now. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
And creating the marketing and all this stuff, keeping them entertained.
Yes.
So is there a new collection coming, or what's next?
Working on it.
Can you give us a hint, what's next for DYF Beauty?
Okay.
Come on, tell us something. Just a little something.
I will. I'll tell a little something.
And you heard it here first.
I'll give you a little bit of the rundown of my thought process here.
Okay.
So DYF Beauty, and you know what's so funny? Okay, I'm going to give you some background here for me and Anthony, because Anthony has been a part of this DYF journey from the birth of DYF Beauty.
Yeah.
We were bouncing so many ideas as far as, the branding and what the goals are and everything. And we had this other person who was wanting to invest in it, which I'm so glad I ended up not going that route.
I'm so glad.
I want to stay independent as long as I possibly can.
One thing I gotta say, I love that you, even in every contract that we're doing, every deal that we're doing outside of this, I just love that you always go with your gut.
Yes.
And it's I do that too.
Yes.
I feel like I'll tell you, T, this isn't right. This is whatever. This is okay, whatever, whatever you think. But ultimately, you always ask the right questions. I work with so many, brand partners or just brands that just, okay, whatever, how much is it? Okay, good. And I'm like,
now I feel that I was very difficult.
No, I'm really difficult. I mean, so you're difficult, but I'm even more difficult to them. You know what I'm saying? Girl, I still get so many emails for you that I pass on every day.
And that's
because it's
you
just
have to know how to position yourself, right? And
Absolutely.
I love that you and I are on the same page about that. And that's how the whole DYF Beauty thing happened, because this investor was like, brushes don't sell. You need to, create a product that needs replenishing all the time. And I know about that stuff. I worked in beauty my entire adult life. I know that, lips and mascara, those are the things that need constant replenishment, and it would be the easiest. But I'm not here for the quick dollar. I'm here for longevity and things that I truly, truly believe in. And I kept telling this investor, no, I want to start with tools. You remember that? I kept saying, I'm going to start with a brush set. That's what I want to do first. And he was like, that's kind of not the way to go. I would suggest, he kept making, and that's when I was like, this isn't a good fit.
This isn't a good fit.
Because I need to do and I know that it's hard to sell a $300 brush set. I know that. But when people understand my purpose here as an educator, as someone who wants to provide the tools for anybody, I don't care if you're a brand new person to makeup, or if you've been doing it for 25 years. I want to be able to offer you something to make your routine easier and to help teach you the right way to apply makeup, the makeup that you already have at home.
And it's so smart, T, because it's the foundation. How are you going to put the stupid makeup on anyway
Without the right
if you don't have the right tools?
Exactly.
It's like
and
a duh.
Matter.
And
they
now
matter
they're
more than
all
anything.
over the market. Everybody is doing brushes. Everyone is doing, and you know, it's just crazy because like you forecasted that, you knew that. And
10 years ago.
I gotta say,
10 years ago.
your brushes are the truth.
They
They don't fall apart. I
no,
mean,
not one shed.
I mean, it's like
Ever.
really well worth it. Like
Thank
seriously.
you.
It's
Thank
like
you.
you invest in your like designer handbags, your designer shoes, whatever it is you're investing
Yeah.
in. Your makeup, you put it on every single day, people. Like the brushes, like that's the foundation. That's so genius.
And I priced it very fairly.
Yeah.
It's 16 brushes.
Yeah.
For less than $300. It's like $17 a brush.
Yeah.
When if you go to Sephora, you'll buy one powder brush for $45
Yep.
or more if it's like a high
brushes
end.
are expensive. I even remember at MAC, like the little brushes would be
Yeah.
like 50. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not doing that. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
No.
For just one.
And that's why I wanted to do a set so that it makes sense for people instead
Yeah.
of buying individuals right now.
Yeah.
And so that's where we started. We started with this amazing hero SKU
Yes.
of the Ultimate Brush Set, which will forever be our hero product. In 2025 and 2026, the goal is to start exploring. I mean,
Okay.
I've been exploring it on my own, but to start letting people in on the color cosmetic side of things.
Okay.
So now that I've given you the tools to make any one of your makeup products look like a $100 eyeshadow because it's going on
Absolutely.
perfectly now.
Right.
I want to be able to give you the right products for the face next.
Okay, so let's just take a step back. For those, and especially your followers, I know they're beauty enthusiasts. They are building beauty brands themselves. So initially, when you're going through the process of building your brushes, so is it just like, okay, and you guys, I'm asking because I was not there when she was curating her brushes and the bristles, and I was just there for the ideation part and, you know, the branding part, but she did all of this 100%, 1,000% on her own. I actually was just like blown away.
Oh, God.
So in awe of you for that.
Thank you.
So when you're coming up with the concept of the brushes, like, and this is for someone who wants to start a product themselves, like, what's the first thing that you're doing? Are you sketching? Are you, I mean, like, did you patent your name first? Like, what's the first step that someone should do when they are, you know, trying to establish a brand?
Because a lot of people don't understand the logistics behind
Yes, the
all this
logistics.
stuff. So first things first, I sketched every single one of those brushes.
Wow.
10 years prior to the launch.
Wow.
So it's been 12 years. So this was before we even met,
Yeah.
before the investor even approached
Yeah.
us. I already had it, like
Yeah.
on my phone, sketched out on pad, like it was done. But I just needed to then figure out where I wanted to go for manufacturing,
Yeah.
what kind of bristles I wanted to use. I had to learn about this kind of stuff.
And that's where
fully
you
throw
wanted to seek
myself
the
in.
investor because you're like, I don't want to have to deal with all that.
Not at
Let
all.
me
It
just
turned me off
create
so much,
Yeah, let
Anthony,
me just
like,
create, and then you guys.
It's
do
my
that part.
baby. It's my vision. I've always done everything on my own terms. Why am I going to change that now?
Yeah.
Especially with the birth of my first, product
Yeah,
baby.
yeah,
I've done
yeah.
so many collaborations,
Yep.
and I had more freedom in those collaborations than I did in my own business. If I had this investor, like, that's not how I want to live my life.
Yeah.
Especially as a business owner and as a creator, right?
Yeah.
So, logistics. First things first, I sketched everything out just so I can get that creative part out and know what I'm actually going to make. What is
Yes.
going to be my first product.
Yes.
Then I had to name it. I had to name. I was thinking, DYF Cosmetics or DYF Beauty. Like that was like, the balance. Trademarked it
Okay.
right away and moved on to buying the domain.
Okay.
These are all things you kind of want to do at
Yeah.
the same time, I guess.
Yes. Mhm.
And I have a trademark lawyer that made sure everything was done properly. And then came time to really dive into learning about the making of a brush. So, how I can create different types of handles, the ferrules, which is the metal part that holds the bristles into and attaches it to the
And this was
to
just
the
your
handle.
pure research. You were just researching.
My own research. And then the different types of bristles, I went online and I was like, what are the different types of synthetic fibers out there? Are there any patents currently? Is there something that's still left to do, to make? And I found where I wanted to do this. We have patented bristles on my brushes. I mean, this stuff, Anthony, my thing is, okay, so I learned back in the day before, this whole cruelty-free thing was a big deal. I learned very traditionally with real makeup brushes made of real animal hair. Okay, so the way they perform is amazing. I mean, the way they pick up product, the way they apply product is very, very ideal for any makeup application. And my goal was to create a fiber that was synthetic and cruelty-free, totally vegan, but that could mimic real animal hair. And it was so hard to find the right one, because you'd go to different manufacturers, you'd test their product, you take home samples.
So this is like a year process. This is like
years. Okay. And finally I came across a technology that blew my mind, Anthony. Oh my God. And I'm going to get into it because it's going to blow your mind too. So this fiber, imagine a hair strand, right?
Yes.
Imagine a regular synthetic brush from any other brand.
Okay.
It's just a smooth synthetic brush. Yes, it's soft. It's smooth and there's a little point at the tip. But there's no texture on the bristles, meaning you pick up product and when you apply it,
it just drops. It just dusts off. Okay.
And that's why people have had to learn how to do their eyes before their face.
Okay.
I have never done my eyes before my face because I have used quality quality tools to apply the product. And every time I teach my classes online on my app or wherever, people are always like, oh my gosh, don't you get any fallout? And I'm like, girl, the tools and the application.
Yeah, you stress that in your masterclass
too. That the tools that I bring out can hold product so it doesn't fall everywhere.
Yeah.
The fibers that we created, imagine the smooth fiber.
Okay.
Now imagine little crimps in the hair.
Yes.
Now also imagine you're taking a slice of that hair, okay, and putting it under a microscope. Instead of a round slice, it's a star.
Oh, wow.
Meaning there's facets in each hair plus a crimp.
Wow.
But it's such soft, fine hairs that it literally feels like you're using squirrel. Or something so soft. But you apply it and you realize that the powders aren't falling and everything's just going where you want
it to go.
Because it's holding the product for you, and when you place it, it then deposits it for you, just like a finger. Why do you think fingers work so well for eyeshadow?
Because they have little grooves inside of them.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
And you press it on, you slide it, and you get that color payoff.
Wow.
So that took years. So if there's a product that you're looking for and you want to make it like absolutely amazing, you can't rush it.
Yeah.
You have to dive in and learn about every single part. I had to learn about the different ferrule finishes. I had to learn about the different glues that are used. I had to learn about the different handles. How sustainable do I want to position my brand? How ethical can we get here? Can I find a manufacturer that has fair wages for the artisans that are working there? All these things matter.
Wow.
Maybe they don't matter to everyone, but they matter to me. And it took me literally, Anthony, 10 years on the dot for me to finally be like, I'm ready. Wow. This is the one.
Wow. And I gotta say, you put your foot in that because they are amazing. They're some of the best brushes I ever had. Ever had. And if you don't have them, you need to go to the website and get them. Especially after that.
DYFbeauty.com.
Okay.
Plug, shameless.
All right, guys. So we gotta wrap this up because I feel like you and I could be talking forever. I know, but I do have a couple more questions about just like your personal brand and the legacy that you want to leave. So just one thing though, a little bit off subject. How do you stay so authentic online in such a curated world? How do you just stay so authentic with your community, and how important is the community to you?
Oh, 100%. And in such a fake world, it's very, very easy to fall into a mold, right? And like pick out, okay, I want to be like this person, and then you start mimicking that person, but you lose yourself in the process. I'm so lucky to have started in my journey so early on before there were so many people to distract me or to start comparing myself to. Not to say that it didn't happen, because it absolutely did. We're human. We start growing and we see, oh, so-and-so's doing this, so-and-so's doing this. So yeah, we do compare. But one thing that I could always rely on is me.
Yeah.
And I've always been an open book. And I know that a lot of personalities are not like that. It's kind of hard to open up, right? But for me, I've just always been very just what you see is what you get. This is how it is. And you'll see different sides of me because I have different sides of me. It doesn't mean that I have to change myself per se for each side.
Right.
But there's different facets to women.
Yeah.
Especially. And it's okay to show them all. And I like to show the ugly too. I like to show the not so glamorous side, and it makes me feel more connected to my audience. So it's not just so that my audience can trust me, because that's a huge part.
Right.
I want you to be able to trust me. I want you to know who you're becoming online besties with here.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And a lot of people have said, oh my God, in person, you're exactly the same. And it means a lot to me to hear that, because I'm not trying to be someone that I'm not. And the fact that now it's very evident that I am who I am makes me feel more secure in my role of things. But it's also for me to keep myself in check.
Yeah.
Me to remember who I am, family, religion, being grounded and being accessible. These are all values that I hold very dear to my heart. And so I feel like the only way to keep it protected is to be as authentically me at all times as possible.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think community is key, and like that authenticity piece is just pivotal. It can make or break someone when people are just like not being authentic to themselves, and then even
people can see right through that now.
People can see right through it now.
It's so easy to see.
People are so smart.
Yeah.
People are so smart. Okay, guys, for real, we're really wrapping this up now. But one more question, because I know the girlies want to know this. One piece of advice you want every listener to walk away with today. Today. One piece of advice that you wish someone probably would have told you when you were 13. One piece of advice.
Oh, God.
I know. Talk to her.
Oh my gosh.
Talk to 13-year-old T.
13-year-old Tam. Don't ever let anyone tell you that you cannot do something.
Yeah.
And a lot of people say that, but I hope that I could be living proof of that.
Yeah.
Because so many people told me no. The fact that that investor said, this is the wrong move. Don't do the brushes. Before that, my DYF online, I have online classes called dressyourfacelive.com. Now it's on an app on Dress Your Face Live. People told me, you're crazy. You're going up against YouTube. Why would you do that? Why would you have people pay for a subscription when all these tutorials are free on YouTube? No, they're not. My tutorials aren't free on YouTube. And I followed my gut and I did it. And it became the #1 most subscribed to live online platform in the world.
Wow.
When it debuted on the App Store and on the Android store, it became the #1 most downloaded beauty app that week.
Wow.
That's
crazy.
That's my community.
Yeah, that is.
So my advice is, if there's something that you want to do and you want to make it on social media or in your business, you need to very, very much be focused on what your total goal is, what your dream is. You need to find who your target audience is, speak with them, engage with them, build a real community with them, even if it's super niche.
Yeah, even if it's 10
niche.
followers, I don't care. First of all, I have to do a shameless plug. So I came out with this journal called the Strategy Journal. It is a journal where any entrepreneur can basically build their own strategy with my plug and play method, right?
Are you going to give me one?
Yes, I'm actually going to send you one. I'm actually sending you one. But yeah, and it'll be so cool for you to look back at this in 10 years and say, oh my God, this is my strategy in 2025. That's so crazy. It grows with you. You'll be able to get one every year. Isn't she pretty?
Oh my God.
She's so pretty.
But those are so my color.
Yes. I have a linen one too.
Oh my
so
God.
like the color of this couch.
Oh.
So yeah, you're definitely getting one. But basically inside of this is a plug and play of this exact same thing that you're saying. And sometimes you do need to write it down instead of just having it in your mind.
Write it.
You need to sit with it.
Yep.
And you need to write it down. You need to forecast, okay, this is my ideal audience. This is what he or she likes. This is how they love for me to communicate to them.
Yes.
You know what I mean? These are the times that I'm going to be speaking to them, you know, so that you hold yourself accountable and that you have follow through. Versus,
I love that.
Yeah, so you don't have to pay somebody like me
so
to do it
much.
for you, right?
It's all in the book. We'll still pay you to do it, but it's all in the book.
No, yeah, it's all in the book, but I say that to say because basically what you're saying is you have to have a strategy. You have to have a plan.
Yes.
And that is, I mean, that's going to be like your execution.
An
right
idea
there.
is forever going to just be an idea unless you put it down.
Absolutely.
And you have to take that first step.
Yep.
And don't be afraid. I mean, I have like a book of advice for you guys, but don't be afraid to start small. Everyone starts small.
Can we start an advice DYF story hour, please? Thank you very much.
That'd be fun. That'd be fun. But yeah, don't be afraid to start small. We all started somewhere. Yeah. But if you don't start, how are you going to grow?
Absolutely. I enjoy you so much.
I love you.
This was so much fun. Before we go, please tell everybody, as if they don't know, where they can follow you, find you, where they can purchase. Please drop all, like just
all my
right
shameless plugs.
Yes, let's do
Here
it.
we go.
1, 2, 3, go.
Well, you can find me on Instagram at Dress Your Face, and you can buy my amazing brushes that Anthony loves so much on DYFBeauty.com.
Yes,
and if you want to get better at day-to-day makeup or even professional makeup artistry, you can download my app. It's Dress Your Face Live on the App Store, and I have like dozens and dozens.
And
of
she does all
full-length
colors. She does
tutorials,
everybody's makeup,
every skin
like
tone.
every skin
I
tone.
do hair as well, so there's every hair texture and every hair length there, and all the styles. There's bridal, non-bridal, red carpet, all the things are all over there. So those are my 3 ways you can support me.
I just gotta say, I'm so excited for what's to come for DYF Beauty and for you in life. Continue to level up in life. And continue to level up in business and be an example for us all, because girl, you are so inspiring. And just thank you for being here. I know you're so busy.
Oh, it's such an honor. Oh my God.
So
how could I ever pass this up?
I know. It took us a while to get here, but I'm so excited. So everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Like and subscribe, and also level up in life and business.
Yes, baby.